Welcome to Cutting Edge Web Content Development, the podcast where we delve into the world of CMS systems and their crucial role in website and web content development. In each episode, we'll explore the reasons why founders, CEOs, CTOs, and CMOs of web content development companies need CMS systems to thrive in the digital landscape. Get ready to uncover the secrets behind successful website management, content creation, and seamless user experiences. Here's your host, Jonathan Ames.
Welcome to Cutting Edge Web Content Development, a podcast by ButterCMS. Here we share insights on the intersection of content and web development and how you can align these two often competing forces to improve efficiency and business results. Joining us in this episode is Rahul Ravulapati, Head of Marketing Operations at A10 Networks. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Jonathan.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit, Rahul, about your background, how you got into marketing operations, maybe some of the projects you worked on or the things that you've done over your career.
Thank you. Excellent question. So I got into marketing operations, 20 years ago. And it all started with a visit to a winery. Believe it or not. Yeah. So this was years ago. I was in Livermore, wine tasting with some friends, and I had a strike up conversation with the winemaker. And at that time, I was looking for opportunities in the job market, and I was focused on biomedical, like medical field, completely opposite of marketing. But the winemaker said, "Look, you have a knack for talking to people. I think you would be a good fit for marketing." And I said, "Look, I'm not a marketing guy. I mean, I graduated with neurobiology degree. I am all things like life sciences, biology." He's like, no, just give it a try. So that's how I got my foot in the door in marketing. And working for a winery, you have to wear many different hats. I certainly had to. So I dabbled in web design, website building, SEO, SEM, just doing the general marketing for the winery. And just from there, just a natural evolution of it, I went full force in. And now 20 plus years later, I dabbled in marketing automation, marketing operations, demand gen. So those 20 plus years, I've worn many more hats, many different hats. And just here I am, fast forward to now, head of marketing operations. And that's what I'm passionate about, all things operational efficiency, operational optimization, and just overall bringing what I would call automation to very manual processes that marketing orgs have to contend with.
Yeah. No, that's very interesting. I know my career goes back to the early 90s. And back then, we were transitioning from a very manual sort of marketing to this new digital age. And so digital tools were very foreign to the marketing department. And now you cannot be in any part of marketing without using digital tools, and many of them. And so Absolutely. That's why, bringing in someone who can, manage this spread of marketing tech stack, optimize it, make sure that everyone's able to use it well, and it communicates is just really critical. And so marketing operations, I don't even think I heard that term until maybe 5-8 years ago. And it's really becoming essential now for any kind of larger organization. Yeah.
Absolutely. I like to think of marketing organization as center of excellence. It's the heartbeat of any marketing organization. We're the unsung heroes. We always operate in behind the scenes, kind of like a director of a movie, right? You got the stars, the heroes, heroines, right? Which are the field marketers, then the directors, producers behind the scenes. And that's what I operate as, behind the scenes. But it is an essential role to keep marketing and sales alignment, because that is critical. That is like marriage made in heaven. It's not always easy, but that's what I strive for as head of marketing operation, is to maintain that cross-functional collaboration.
Well, one of the things, this was exciting to me as we talked previously about this episode, your experience with AI in marketing operations. Now, AI, this last year, we've all heard a lot about it, but still very few marketing departments are doing more than dipping a toe into AI. And I think it's largely because they know it from a theoretical level. And so they really don't have a lot of hands-on experience. And so this is why I'm really excited about this episode. So talk to us a little bit about this idea of using AI for web content creation, to do basic things like increase your traffic, increase your engagement. How can it be done?
Yeah, absolutely. And you're right. AI is like the new kid on the block year ago, right? And the way I've been leveraging AI for web content creation to increase traffic and engagement always boils down to like the basics from the standpoint of, do you have sufficient curated content where AI, Chat GPT, and there's so many models out there, but generally speaking, AI can index and reference, because that is the foundation, ensuring good content engagement. So what AI is doing, at least the way I'm deployed and using AI, is telling this artificial intelligence to curate this library of content and serve relevant information to the end users who come to the website. That way you're increasing engagement because you're serving them with relevant, in the moment content. And of course, as a result of engagement, you will naturally increase traffic because the AI is able to go out there and crawl this terabytes of data in the form of content and serve up. And that's how I've been leveraging AI for web content to increase traffic and engagement.
Oh, that's excellent. So is this something that's happening dynamically, or is it something where AI goes in on a regular basis, looks at all the data and says, here's the top data, put this in, or this is the top content, put it in the first place?
It's dynamic in nature to a certain degree, but also static, because the content needs to be residing somewhere. Rather than say it's in a DAM, a digital asset management platform where the AI plugs into. And now the AI has the intelligence with some guidance, with some parameters put in place, telling it's almost you're prepping the AI for all the possible permutations of what the end user, the person that's come to the website, may be searching for and asking for. But over time, it's learning from all those terabytes of queries that runs. So it's dynamic from that nature, but initially it tends to be more static in nature because you're building up that AI model to eventually get to a point where it's intelligent enough, because it's ran through so many permutations, to be able to serve you that content on demand on those websites.
So you mentioned that it's searching through a DAM. So it's able to index images. Is it able to do anything else like videos or PDFs or things like that? What's it able to search through?
Anything that the AI can interface with, images, videos, GIF files, even PDF files, it has access to. It has the power to be able to scan the data and serve up in a meaningful way that, once again, it's using a lot of inferred data. There's also reverse IP lookup that happens. A lot of these things are happening at milliseconds that for the end user, they don't know. It's almost a bit scary because it's like Big Brother, right? In the form of a machine learning AI, hence the term machine learning, because it's always learning from the user's engagement and also the content it's being served up.
Yeah. No, I think most of us appreciate AI when it helps us filter out noise and puts in front of us content that we're interested in. When you look at good examples of AI, I mean, you look at what the social networks are doing. If you like certain content, if you view certain content, they know that and they bring you more of that content. And so you come to expect that as a user of social media.
Mm-hmm.
You know that if you watch a certain video or like certain posts, you're going to get more of that in your feed. You'll probably get ads in your feed. But given a choice of that and just getting random ads or random content, it's much more likely that I'm going to engage and enjoy something that's tailored to what my browsing preferences have been in the past. And while, some people are worried about the privacy aspect of that, from a consumer experience, it can be a much better experience, certainly more engaging.
Absolutely. It's kind of like, it's all about personalization. It's kind of like Amazon or Netflix, right? It's collecting data in the back end. It's cataloging your likes and dislikes. And it's kind of based off of your history, your browser history, your behavioral, right? And that's how Amazon is able to serve you those additional products, right? Because you have, like products, or like with Netflix, like shows or movies, because it's curating all of that viewing data, behavioral data, And AI is no different, right? At the end of the day, it always comes down to data that it's curating. You had a good point about privacy. Yeah. I mean, this is uncharted territory, right? This is still new technology. People are still figuring it out. Government institutions are still wrapping their heads off because they're still behind on the 8 ball. How do you regulate AI? It's very much unknown, but there's a lot of possibilities if AI does get regulated in a meaningful, thoughtful way, could be leveraged. In fact, I'm leveraging it in my current organization for content creation. But we'll see how AI evolves into. It's still in its infancy stage. It is somewhat misleading, I think, because AI is artificial intelligence. There really is no true intelligence behind it. You are having to feed the data. It's indexing data, indexing content. And from that, based on keywords and some parameters you input, it's creating that, curating and serving you more personalized, more related data. But the intelligence part isn't quite there yet. I think in the coming years, there'll be more intelligence to the AI.
Yeah. Oh, good points. All right. So what strategies would you recommend for a business that's trying to leverage AI in content creation? We talked about kind of content, maybe prioritization. Are there strategies for content creation that AI can help with?
Yeah, absolutely. It always boils down to quality of data. You can have the most and best AI tools out there to help you with content creation. But prior to that deployment, you have to ask yourself, do I have robust enough content library? And plus, do I have quality data for AI to plug into? Because the AI needs those foundational pillars, quality data, a good content library to be able to deploy any AI tool from a strategy standpoint. The way I've approached it is a twofold. Let's make sure our data is as pristine as it can be, as complete as it can be on the person record, on the people, so we know who we are or who they are. Then I can instruct the AI bot, I call them bots, to query them and say, oh, look at this person's ICP, ideal customer profile, look at their data sets, then marry that with the content consumption they have done historically. And now the AI is combining the two and serving up those content creation. So from a strategy standpoint, you have to nail down on those two pillars in order to deploy AI effectively.
Yeah. So good database, good clean data. Those are things that, have been trumpeted for a while. And I think it's interesting that that's just as important for AI as it would be for, say, marketing less.
Yes. Yeah. It always comes down to the lowest denominator, which is content, because content is king, followed by really good, pristine data. Data quality will always be there, and it's needed because AI depends on data, because that's the new the gold rush, as I call it, the new gold.
So when you're trying to create content with AI, do you find that is a good strategy to use AI to give you insights into what data or what kind of content to create, or is it for efficiency and the creation of that content? Where do you see the biggest improvements from AI?
The biggest gains and improvements from AI I see is I think in both arenas. One is to AI to go through those terabytes of data versus a human being doing it, eyeballing it, and being able to do it faster, more efficiently, to serve up insights into what kind of content consumption my end users, my target audience are consuming. And plus using that to program the AI and say, okay, take the data, take the content, and use inferred logic, marry all that together and to create a derivative of that content. In fact, on my A10 website, on our A10 website, we do something like that. We use, IP lookup, look at their data, look at their past consumption to curate. It's almost like going back to that whole Netflix. Oh, you liked this content, you consumed it before. Here is another content that's very similar to the prior content you consumed. And the AI is able to do that because it's using algorithms like Netflix does or Amazon does, like those likes and what you consume.
No, that's amazing. I even though I spend a fair amount of time kind of trying to keep track of innovations in AI. There's always new aspects. And I have to admit, I hadn't thought of the aspect of having AI look through your data, especially in real time, and be able to tell you, hey, this is the best content. Is that something that's available to most companies, or is it really only the largest enterprises that are going to be able to access this kind of AI help to pick out the best content and serve it up?
I would say since AI is in the infancy stage, there is a big price tag associated to it. So such AI functionality and tools at the moment is really available to the big enterprise companies who have the budgets to roll out these very costly AI tools. Whereas maybe a smaller SMB or like just a smaller organization may find themselves price sticker shock. They could certainly do it, but they may not necessarily have the budgets to use the best AI tools out there to serve up the most relevant content. We did something like a hybrid where we used ChatGPT 3.5, which is like an open source to some degree, and marry that with some in-house development work to come up with our own special build in-house AI tool to serve up content and to be able to look up data in as much real time as possible. There's always going to be a bit of a lag between what the AI can retrieve, analyze, and serve.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I'd see a lot of people also, because it's in the infancy stage, having to do custom development to really put AI to use, kind of marry it with their own internal databases or processes. So what are some of the best tools you've seen out there in AI right now for content creation or SEO?
They're like popping up like weeds. They're dime a dozen. Some of the tools I've seen is like Adobe certainly has their own in-house Adobe centric AI that it is quite robust, and I've used it on an ad hoc basis, on a pilot basis. So that one I could speak to. It's fairly robust. There's other tools out there, even from tools from a translation standpoint to help you curate and create content in different languages. SmartLink is another tool out there that I've used from AI utilization standpoint. So those are the two ones I found fairly accurate in terms of quality and what it can deliver from a content creation standpoint.
So Adobe and SmartLink.
Yeah.
So I know with AI translation, a lot of people are looking at that as something that can be an efficiency tool to help you be able to more quickly translate content. You could do a rough draft with an AI and then put it through a process kind of like SmartLink, where you could have a regular editor at the back end who could then look at that and make a few changes and then pass it off much faster than they could if simply the original language was passed to them and they had to do all the work of the translation manually themselves. So things like that, certainly I've heard from clients, has been a time saver for them.
Absolutely.
So as far as what are some tips if people are trying to put in place AI right now that they can use to ensure that there's better accuracy, maybe less hallucinations in the content that's created?
I would say the advice I would give in terms of the tactics that one can employ, whether it's a small company, big company, is figuring it out. It's important to always start with what is the problem and what are you trying to solve with AI, right? And do you have the infrastructure in place for deploying the AI? So that's where I would start, and that's where I started, is ensuring that I have the proper infrastructure in place, proper resources in place to be able to onboard AI tool and be able to support it and maintain it. So you have to address those key factors in order to successfully deploy AI to manage content creation or even your workflows, day-to-day workflows. That becomes critical. So that would be my recommendation overall.
Okay. Now, one of the things I've seen out there deployed as far as companies are trying to put their toes in the water is they'll either borrow from someone or they'll have a prompt engineer work on a set of standard prompts, like, hey, if you want to do this, use these prompts. And this is kind of the process to speed up your flow. Do you think that that's a good idea to kind of either copy paste from someone else or to, maybe utilize one prompt and kind of share it across an organization and say, hey, use this to do these kind of flows or processes?
It goes back to the use case. There might be use cases where it's okay to use a prompt and repurpose that prompt, but other use cases may be so bespoke that you can't go down that path. You have to, what we call prompts, but the playbooks that you have to curate that's very unique. And you have to come up with a reasonable amount of permutations of what those playbooks are or prompts to serve up the end user on whatever it is that you're trying to serve up, whether it's managing efficiency, workflows, content creation. So it's through those bespoke playbooks, and that's how we have rolled out at A10. There was a good amount of development, R&D went into it, plus leveraging some out-of-the-box playbooks, those prompts that where we thought in this use case, rather than putting more R&D into it, this is sufficient enough to roll out.
All right. So, do you have any maybe real life stories of when you're either putting in place AI or trying to optimize it that might help people in, using AI for their own workflow, whether generative or to be able to pick out these opportunities?
Yeah. So a real life example of where I'm using AI bots is from a workflow efficiency standpoint, really taking any task that's repetitive in nature and applying bots to it. An example would be, since I'm in marketing operations, there's quite a few workflows that are repetitious, repetitive in nature. An example would be lead uploads, lead management, right? The process is same over and over and over with a set of leads that need to be routed somewhere or a set of leads that need to be uploaded. And bot can take that repetitive task and do that for you. So that's one line example of where I'm using bots to manage my workflow to help me so that I do get time back to focus on more bespoke type of workflows that I currently don't have a bot doing that. Maybe in the future with more development and R&D, I could do that. But at present, these bots, they're nice little buggers to be able to help you with some repetitive tasks.
Well, perfect. Rahul, let me ask you a question about kind of your career and the things you've learned. If you could go back in a time machine and talk to yourself at that beginning of your career when you were at the winery, what main piece of advice would you give yourself?
Oh, if I were to go back in time, Marty McFly, the advice I would give myself is invest a lot of time, a lot of learnings on data science. Data is big now. Anything you touch, the underlying piece is data. So if I can go back in time, I would definitely pay more attention, take more classes, more opportunities, experience, all things related to data science, because I live and breathe in data 5 days a week minimum. And all of the AI implementation, all of the processes, the automation, all of it, analytics, so on and so forth, all depend on analyzing data, making data-driven decisions, and so forth. So that's one piece of advice I would give myself.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you have some insights on this too. Where do you think people could go if they wanted to improve their chops with data? They wanted to be able to be better at analyzing data and understanding how it works. Do you think that there's books out there or conferences or podcasts or something that's maybe courses that would be good for that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is something I'm doing, so I'm happy to share, is that there's a ton of free courses out there like Coursera. I believe they offer some, and there's some paid ones. I take some classes, online classes through institutions, right? Just college institutions that they offer courses on data science. So I do take that in addition to just reading books on big data on Amazon. I bought a few. I literally searched for it and bought a few books. So people have a myriad of options. You could take courses online. You could do self-paced courses online or brick and mortar institutions, in addition to just reading. So I kind of do all of those to keep myself up to speed on the technologies, especially around AI.
Excellent. Well, if people want to get a hold of you, connect with you online, Rahul, how could they do so?
They can do so through LinkedIn. I'm pretty accessible. I do get pinged a lot through LinkedIn, but if people want to get hold of me, I would say the best medium is through LinkedIn.
Excellent. Well, really appreciate your insights on AI. I learned a couple of things here and just talking to you and been inspired and looking now at some different ways to use AI than what I had considered before. So really appreciate that, Rahul.
Yeah, thanks for having me on this. Enjoyed it thoroughly.
Cutting Edge Web Content Development is brought to you by ButterCMS. To find out how you can build better with Butter, stop wasting dev time, and free your marketers from your legacy CMS, visit ButterCMS.com. Also, make sure to search for Cutting Edge Web Content Development in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts, or anywhere else podcasts are found. Make sure to click subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. On behalf of the team here at ButterCMS, thank you for listening.